Today we're diving into one of the most debated ideas in economics, the Laffer Curve. Whether you've heard of it or not, this concept plays a big role in shaping tax policy and has fueled countless debates about government revenue and taxation. Welcome back to Bear Economics. Let's get into it. The Laffer Curve, named after the economist Arthur Laffer, is a theory that illustrates the relationship between tax rates and government revenue. We all love taxes. Imagine a curve that starts at zero, rises to a peak, and then falls back down to zero again. That's the basic idea. So here's how it works. If the tax rates are 0%, the government collects zero revenue. Makes sense, right? But at the other extreme, if the tax rates are 100%, people would have no incentive to work or invest because everything they earn would go to the government. That also results in zero revenue. The key insight is to what happens in between. As tax rates rise from zero, government revenue increases, but only up to a certain point. Beyond that, higher taxes discourage economic activity, causing revenue to decline. This isn't mysterious. Austrian praxeology predicts it. Individuals compare marginal benefit after tax pay to marginal cost, effort, and time. When benefit falls below cost, activity drops. Now you might be thinking, Luke, this sounds good in theory, but does it actually work in real life? Let me give you some examples. In the 80s, President Reagan slashed the top marginal tax rate from 70% to 28%. And what do you think happened? Critics predicted this would lead to a massive drop in revenue. But guess what? Federal tax receipts actually increased. Who would have thought? Why? Because lower tax rates incentivize people to work harder, invest, and take risks, ultimately expanding the economy and increasing the tax base. Let's take a look at Sweden, a country known for its high taxes. In the 1990s, Sweden reduced top income tax rates, and similar to the US, they saw economic activity rise and government revenues grow. The reforms encouraged entrepreneurs and foreign investments, revitalizing the economy. But there is a caveat to this. We'll take the state of Kansas as an example. In 2012, Kansas implemented steep tax cuts, hoping for similar results, more cuts, higher revenue. But instead, revenues plummeted. Why? Because these tax cuts were too aggressive, and they didn't align with the state's economic realities. You have to take into account where you start on the curve to depend on which way raise or lower taxes. So what's the takeaway? The Laffer curve is a powerful concept that shows us tax policy is a balancing act. Cutting taxes isn't always the solution, but most of the time it is. And raising them, most of the time, backfires. It's all about finding that sweet spot. The Laffer curve represents the relationship between tax rates and the total tax revenue, which suggests revenue increases with lower tax rates, up to an optimal point. From an Austrian economics perspective, it's all about incentives. Government actions impact individual behavior. Overtaxation leads to disincentives for production, investment, and labor, hence reducing revenue. Austrian economists like Mises and Rothbard would argue that the market should regulate itself without heavy taxation, as they emphasize individual action and personal response to incentives. The Laffer curve models this interplay. This quote from Mises sums it up. Quote, "Taxes are the price we pay for civilization, but push that price too high and civilization finds another way." End quote. If you've got thoughts on this, or you think your government has found that perfect balance, drop a comment below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it helpful. See you in the next one.